Why Japanese eating culture naturally encourages healthy weight. Lifestyle explained. In Japan, the obesity rate hovers around 4%. In America, it's closer to 42%. That's a tenfold difference between two modern, developed nations with access to similar foods and technologies. So what's happening? How do millions of Japanese people maintain healthy weights without obsessing over calories? Following restrictive diets or spending hours at the gym. It starts with something that happens at nearly every meal. Something so simple you might overlook it. And it's not sushi. It's not some exotic superfood. It's actually something you already have in your kitchen. But that's just one thread in a larger tapestry. The Japanese approach to food and eating is woven through with centuries-old wisdom about balance, rhythm, and respect. Habits that work together quietly, day after day, to support health without effort. In this video, we'll uncover these everyday practices one by one, exploring how food culture in Japan naturally encourages healthy weight, and more importantly, we'll look at how you can bring these same principles into your own life, starting today. Before we dive into specific foods or habits, we need to understand something fundamental about Japanese culture, the concept of ma, the space between things. In Japanese aesthetics, what's left out is often as important as what's included. This philosophy extends to food. Japanese cuisine isn't about maximizing flavor through richness or size. It's about finding the ideal balance. The Japanese word takito captures this perfectly. It means appropriate or just right. Not too much, not too little. Just what's needed. When your culture teaches you that just enough is the goal rather than as much as possible, overeating becomes less appealing. You're not fighting your desires. You're simply calibrated differently from the start. Next up, how a simple eating guideline taught from childhood prevents overeating without ever mentioning calories. Here's that simple practice I mentioned at the start. Before every meal, many Japanese people remind themselves of an old Confucian teaching. Harahachibu. It means eat until you're 80% full. Not stuffed, not even completely satisfied, just comfortably full, and then you stop. Scientists have confirmed what the Japanese have known for centuries. It takes about 20 minutes for your stomach to signal your brain that you're full. If you eat quickly until you feel satisfied, you've likely already overeaten. But if you aim for 80% and eat slowly enough to notice how you feel, you stop right around the point where your body has actually had enough. The people of Okinawa, who practice harahachibu religiously, have among the longest life expectancies in the world. Researchers found that this single practice naturally creates a daily caloric deficit of about 10 to 20%, enough to prevent weight gain over time without ever feeling deprived. If you're finding these insights useful, consider subscribing. We explore simple, powerful habits from cultures around the world every week, but stopping at 80% only works if you're eating the right foundation. That brings us to rice. In Japan, rice isn't a side dish. It's the foundation of nearly every meal, and this matters more than you might think. For centuries, Japanese meals have been built around gohan, steamed white rice, with everything else serving as accompaniments. This structure creates natural portion control. When rice is the center and takes up the most space on your plate, there's less room for calorie-dense proteins or fried foods. Rice is what nutritionists call a low-energy density food. 1 cup of cooked white rice contains about 200 calories. That same volume of pasta? Around 220. A cup of cooked ground beef? Over 300 calories. Rice fills you up with fewer calories, especially when paired with vegetables and soup. In America, we often think of carbs as the enemy. But in Japan, where rice is eaten daily, obesity rates remain remarkably low. The difference isn't the carbohydrate itself. It's how it's prepared, how much is eaten, and what it's paired with. And those pairings matter enormously. Next, the fermented foods that appear at nearly every Japanese meal. Walk into any Japanese home at breakfast, and you'll likely find the same items. Rice, miso soup, grilled fish, and tsukemono. Pickled vegetables. Fermented foods like miso, natto, pickles, and soy sauce have been central to Japanese cuisine for over 1,000 years. Modern science is now revealing why they matter for weight and health. Fermented foods contain beneficial bacteria that support your gut microbiome, which influences everything from digestion to how efficiently your body stores fat. Miso soup is a perfect example. Made from fermented soybean paste, it's served at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's warm, savory, and filling. But a bowl contains only about 40 calories. Starting a meal with miso soup fills your stomach with something nutritious and low-calorie, leaving less room for heavier foods. Contrast this with typical American starters: bread and butter, fried appetizers, or rich soups loaded with cream. We're often consuming 300-400 calories before the main course even arrives. But there's another beverage that accompanies these meals, served morning, noon, and night. Let's talk about tea. In Japan, green tea isn't just a drink. It's a ritual, a moment of pause, and a health practice all wrapped into one. The average Japanese person drinks 3 to 5 cups of green tea daily. Not sweetened, not flavored, just pure, simple green tea. Green tea contains compounds called catechins that can slightly increase your metabolism. The effect isn't dramatic. About 70 to 100 extra calories burned per day. But over months and years, that adds up. More importantly, green tea replaces other beverages. When you're sipping hot tea, throughout the day, you're not drinking soda, juice, or sweetened coffee drinks. The average American consumes about 150 calories daily from beverages alone. In Japan, that's largely replaced with zero-calorie tea. The ritual of preparing and drinking tea also creates natural pauses in your day. These moments of stillness interrupt the constant motion of modern life, and in those pauses, you're less likely to mindlessly snack. So far, we've seen how harahachibu creates natural portion control. Rice provides a filling foundation, fermented foods support digestion, and green tea replaces sugary drinks. But how the Japanese eat matters as much as what they eat. Coming up, the presentation principle that makes smaller portions feel completely satisfying. There's a saying in Japanese cuisine, you eat with your eyes first. Walk into a traditional Japanese restaurant, and instead of one large plate piled with food, you'll receive multiple small dishes, each carefully arranged, each with its own colors, textures, and shapes. This isn't just aesthetics, it's psychology. Research shows that people feel more satisfied eating smaller portions when the food is artfully arranged and served in multiple courses. The variety creates the perception of abundance. You feel like you're eating more than you actually are. A traditional Japanese meal might include a small bowl of rice, a few pieces of sashimi, grilled vegetables, pickles, a small salad, and miso soup. Together, this might total 500 to 600 calories, but because it's spread across 6 or 7 dishes, it feels like a feast. Compare this to a typical American dinner, a large plate with a chicken breast, mashed potatoes, and vegetables all touching each other in the center. Same calories, but it doesn't feel as abundant, and that experience extends to the pace of eating itself. Let's explore why slowing down might be the most powerful habit of all. Here's something you may not have considered. Chopsticks naturally slow you down. Try eating rice with chopsticks versus a fork. With a fork, you can shovel large amounts quickly. With chopsticks, you pick up smaller portions and it simply takes longer. Studies on eating speed have found that people who eat quickly are more likely to become overweight. One Japanese study followed over 3,000 people and found that those who ate quickly were twice as likely to be obese compared to those who ate slowly. In Japan, the entire meal structure encourages slow eating. Meals are served in courses. There are natural pauses between items. You sip tea. You engage in conversation. American dining culture often works against this. We eat in front of screens in our cars, standing at the kitchen counter. The Japanese approach treats mealtime as sacred. Even a simple weeknight dinner is eaten at a table, without distractions, with proper attention. This mindfulness extends to specific rituals that bookend every meal. Coming up, the words that transform eating from routine to respect. Before eating, everyone in Japan, from school children to business executives, pauses and says one word, itadakimasu. It roughly translates to I humbly receive. It's an expression of gratitude for the food, for the people who grew it, prepared it, and served it. After finishing, they say, gochusu sama deshita. Thank you for the meal. Research on mindful eating shows that people who pause before meals and eat with intention consume less and feel more satisfied. The simple act of stopping, of creating a boundary between not eating and eating, helps your brain register the meal as an event. In America, we often skip this transition. We grab food and eat it immediately, sometimes without even sitting down. These moments of gratitude shift your relationship with food from consumption to appreciation. You're not just fueling your body, you're participating in something larger. We've covered what they eat and how they eat. Presentation creates satisfaction, chopsticks slow the pace, and rituals frame meals with intention. But these habits don't exist in isolation. They're reinforced by lifestyle factors that start early. Next, how Japanese schools teach food culture from day one. In Japan, school lunch isn't just about feeding children, it's education. Every day, students in Japanese public schools eat the same meal together in their classroom. Teachers eat with them. Before eating, students serve each other, learning responsibility and cooperation. The meals are carefully designed by nutritionists to provide balanced nutrition. They're real food: grilled fish, rice, vegetables, miso soup, and fruit. Everything is made from scratch. Children are taught to eat everything. Everyone eats the same thing, and finishing your meal is part of the culture. You learn early that meals include vegetables, fish, and rice, not as punishment, but as normal. This shapes taste preferences for life. When you grow up eating fish and vegetables daily, those foods become comfort foods. Your palate develops differently than a child raised on fast food. Contrast this with American schools, where pizza and chicken tenders dominate menus. We're training young palates to prefer processed foods. And those preferences persist into adulthood. But education is just the beginning. Once those habits are formed, social expectations reinforce them throughout life. In Japan, maintaining a healthy weight isn't just personal. It's social. This isn't about judgment, it's about collective values. Health is seen as a responsibility you have to your family, your workplace, and your community. Since 2008, Japan has had a law requiring companies to measure employee waistlines during annual health checkups. This might sound invasive to American ears, but in Japan, it's accepted as prevention. The goal is to maintain healthy weights before health problems develop. There are also simple social norms around food. It's not common to eat while walking. Snacking between meals is less frequent. Portion sizes at restaurants are standardized and reasonable. Even convenience stores offer balanced meals, rice balls, salads, fish. When everyone around you is eating reasonable portions, it becomes your norm too. You're not fighting temptation. You're supported by your environment. And beyond what happens at the table, there's how the Japanese move through their daily lives. Coming up, the movement that doesn't feel like exercise. The average Japanese person walks over 6,000 steps daily. Many exceed 10,000. The average American? Around 4,000. This isn't because the Japanese spend more time at gyms. Most don't belong to gyms at all. They walk because their cities and daily routines are built around walking. Japanese people walk to train stations. They climb stairs. They walk through neighborhoods where sidewalks are safe and stores are close. They bike to work and shops. Walking 10,000 steps burns about 400,000 to 500 calories daily, roughly a quarter of daily caloric needs. Do that every day, and you create a significant deficit without ever feeling like you're exercising. In America, we drive to places that are a 10-minute walk away. We circle parking lots to get the closest spots. We take elevators up one floor. The Japanese lifestyle weaves movement into daily activities so seamlessly that it doesn't feel like effort. You're not carving out time for a workout you dread. You're simply getting where you need to go. We've explored the cultural foundation, the eating habits, the social support, and the movement patterns. Now comes the most important part, how you can actually use this wisdom. So how do you bring harahachibu into an American life? Start with your dinnerware. Research shows that people eat more when they use larger plates. Use a 9-inch plate instead of a 12-inch plate. This naturally reduces portions by up to 30%, but you still feel like you're eating a full plate of food. Serve meals in courses, even at home. Put your salad or soup out first. Eat it completely, then bring out the main course. This creates natural pauses and gives your body time to register fullness. Practice the 80% check-in. Halfway through your meal, put down your fork for 30 seconds. Ask yourself, how hungry am I actually? Could I stop soon and feel satisfied? You don't have to stop immediately. Just notice. That awareness is the first step. Eat without screens, no TV, no phone, no computer. When you pay attention to what you're eating, you naturally eat less and enjoy it more. These aren't drastic changes. You're just adding a bit more intention to something you do 3 times a day. But intention works even better when the food itself is balanced. Next, how to structure American meals with Japanese principles. You don't need to eat Japanese food to use Japanese principles. You can apply the same structure to any cuisine. Think of your plate in thirds. 1/3 grains, 1/3 protein, 1/3 vegetables. This is essentially how bento boxes are organized. In Japan, it might be rice, fish, and pickled vegetables. In your home, it could be quinoa, chicken, and steamed broccoli. Make vegetables the most abundant item by volume. Fill half your plate with vegetables, a quarter with protein, and a quarter with grains. This automatically reduces calorie density while increasing nutrition. Include something fermented at every meal. Greek yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi, pickles, kefir. These all provide similar benefits. Start or end your meal with something warm and liquidy. Soup, tea, or broth. This fills your stomach and creates satisfaction with minimal calories. And finally, the simplest swaps that make the biggest difference. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. Start with 1 or 2 swaps. Swap soda or juice for unsweetened green tea. This single change can eliminate 150 to 200 calories daily. That's 15 to 20 pounds per year without changing anything else. Swap bread or pasta for rice a few times per week. Rice is less processed, more filling, and creates a better foundation for balanced meals. Swap large dinner plates for salad plates. You'll be surprised how satisfied you feel with less food. Swap eating in front of the TV for eating at the table. Just sit down. Notice your food. Chew slowly. You'll eat less and enjoy it more. Swap clean your plate for stop when comfortable. This is the hardest swap because it requires unlearning a lifetime of conditioning, but it's also the most powerful. Let's bring this all together. The Japanese maintain healthy weights not because they have superior willpower or secret supplements. They do it through a culture that makes healthy eating the path of least resistance. They eat until 80% full because they've been taught to since childhood. They build meals around rice. They include fermented foods. They drink green tea instead of sugary beverages. They present food beautifully. They eat slowly with chopsticks. They bookend meals with gratitude. They learn food culture in schools. They walk everywhere. And social norms reinforce these habits at every turn. None of these practices are extreme. None require perfect adherence. They're simply woven into daily life. Small, sensible habits that compound over time. And here's the hopeful part. These habits are completely transferable. You can practice harahachibu at your dinner table tonight. You can use a smaller plate tomorrow. You can swap your afternoon soda for green tea next week. You can take a 20-minute walk after dinner. You can put your phone away during meals and simply eat. You don't need to be Japanese to benefit from Japanese wisdom. You just need to be willing to try a few small changes. The beauty of these habits is that they don't feel like sacrifice. When you eat from smaller plates artfully arranged, you don't feel deprived. You feel cared for. When you sip hot tea, you don't feel restricted. You feel calm. When you stop at 80% full, you don't feel hungry. You feel light and energized. These practices work with your body, not against it. They honor ancient wisdom about balance and sufficiency, and they offer a gentle path toward health that doesn't require willpower. Just attention, intention, and a willingness to slow down. Which of these Japanese habits speaks to you? Could you imagine incorporating harahachibu into your next meal? Swapping your coffee for green tea? Using smaller plates? Eating without screens? Pick one. Try it for a week. Notice how it feels, then maybe add another. If you found this exploration useful, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Which habit will you try first? And if you'd like more videos exploring time-tested wisdom from cultures around the world, consider subscribing. Until next time, itadakimasu. And here's to eating with intention, gratitude, and joy.